All right. There is no easy transition to this next topic.
Let's get into this
I
rap.
want to see how you're gonna do it.
I just did it.
Worship and praise. Speaking of worship and praise. All right. So,
Women are powerful. Women are powerful.
so, all right. Over the past, I guess week or so, the two biggest. Hey, man! I got kids, man.
Check
All right.
back on the ones and twos.
All right. So the biggest. So we touch on one big story, which was Kamala. The other big story, which was all over social media. I guess the song dropped last Friday. It doesn't even
5 days ago.
Yeah, it dropped 5 days ago. So Cardi B and Meg the Stallion, what's her name?
H-Town.
H-Town. Dropped a song called WAP. WAP. So, which is an acronym. And I won't be able to say the word. Sorry, I just won't be able to say it.
Worship and praise.
It's an acronym for wet a
Boom boom.
Boom, boom.
boom. Yeah. What? All right. So, all right. With that said, so the song is, as you'd expect, two artists who are, pretty, that speak their mind. Or we call it raunchy or whatever. That's their lyrics. And the thing everybody was talking about this. Once the video dropped, Friday morning, I get up and I look on my phone and I check my Facebook, and that's everybody. I was like, what the hell is WAP? What are they talking about? And then I looked up and it's like, oh, it's a song. So I went to Spotify and listened to it. And I'm like, whoa. So once I heard the lyrics of it, but here's the thing that gets me. So now, me being 40 plus, knocking on the door of 50. I'm not too close, but I'm close there. Most of my friends are, in that same age range. So now they are parents and they're married and whatnot. And the amount of puritanical statements of what is this world coming to? I'm like, hold on a second. We grew up with 2 Live Crew, with Too Short. With worse lyrics on that. The only difference I see is that those lyrics were being sung by men. So we're cool with talking about throw that D and hey, we want some P, and we grew up wearing, remember that song by Bust Down, Nasty B.I. That's a filthy song. And I remember being up in a club in Carrington or someplace, and girls are dancing and grinding. But it's cool because we were, in our 20s, and hey, no big deal. But now that we're parents, we're like, so I'm like, people act like it's going to be the end of the world. Look here, the same way that we listen to that stuff, but we had guidance. We had either parents or mentors to guide us along the right path. So we could listen to it and it really just go in one ear and out the other. But, it surprised me actually to see the reaction from some people. But let's get into this WAP. We'll start with Jazzy. Because ladies first. First.
Well, I got a couple comments.
Say all 5 of them.
Okay.
It's a hole in the house. It's a hole in the house.
I mentioned the fact that that there's in so many words, there's a bias when it comes to women rapping
about their lady parts.
Their vulgarities and their sexual liberation and their sexual freedom. And it's always been a bias with that. Even we can go back to with Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. When they came out, being sexually explicit, it was a whole movement, from, the Queen Latifahs and the MC Lights and all of those who were, conscious rappers, lady first, you and I too. Why don't be calling me no B.
Before your time. Don't be trying to act like you old.
Hey, I'm 40. I'm in a 40 plus club. Don't get it twisted.
Wow, man, I had no idea you were that old.
Yeah,
you don't look a day over 45. But anyway, go ahead.
So that
she could throw something at your ass, boy.
That is in itself a controversial issue. On the flip side of it,
here comes Pastor Jazzy.
Number one, I don't think it's really the time for that because of the state of the world.
When is the time? Go on.
The condition that we're in. I don't think that is very uplifting for the time that we're in, especially, you know, when we're trying to change the narrative of, you know, who we are as a race of people, Black people. Some people can view that as like a step backwards, even though it's just rap, it's just, you know, entertainment, so on, so to speak. But I mean, if you look at it historically, you know, during the era of slavery, how, you know, women, especially Black women specifically, were, you know, viewed as having an insatiable appetite, which justified them being raped, the sexual appetite, which, you know, justified them being raped. And so this dynamic and this narrative, you know, fast forward it to the future, you know, Black women, even Black little girls, are viewed as a highly sexual being. So when you throw these things out here like this, it's like, oh, Black girls are just hypersexualized. Black women are hypersexual. And that's the only thing that, you know, that's our story. And so that's why I can applaud seeing, you know, Kamala, you know, running. You know, that's a wonderful change of the story for Black women. But then listening to, and the other thing is, you know, I was listening to Tammy Roman, and she was like, you know, the beat is jamming. I'm not gonna lie, it is jamming. You know, it's a dope beat. It's a dope beat. And she was saying, you know, we don't look to Cardi B to give us nothing deep, nothing spiritual, nothing uplifting, nothing intellectual. Who the hell goes to Cardi for that? We go to Cardi for her to be wild, talk about sex, do all of that stuff. So why are people tripping? So it's just so many different things that you can pull from it. Me personally, not my thing.
You know, you be jamming it.
Not my thing. I like the beat, but you know,
would you dance it in the club? If you went to the club, that is.
It's like, you know, we ain't got to cook, we ain't got to clean. I just got to have some good pum pum. Let me tell you something. You need to be a whole, you know, you need to be a whole woman. You can walk around here thinking you can't cook, you don't have to cook and clean. But I guarantee you, he's going to find somebody else who can. Because that's going to get old after a while. It's going to dry up. It's called menopause.
Jazzy. See, that's why we need the female input on the show.
Okay, I'm done.
Brain would not have gone there.
I'm done.
Nope.
Next.
I have nothing to say on the situation. No, I'm kidding. So, I agree with Chris in a couple points, and I agree with Jazzy in a couple points. So, number one, this is nothing. And it's all about a male-dominant society, a male-dominant world. Like you say, we grew up in a situation where we had Too Short, 2 Live Crew, and countless other MCs talking about the same thing. Now, because we have 2 hip hop artists that happen to be women that are basically empowering their sexuality, because that's all it is. They're free to say whatever the hell they want to say. It's a problem. Because if Drake came on a song right now and was talking about some WAP, nobody would even blink an eye. It'll be a great song. Everybody be in the club jamming it, and it's not an issue. It's because they are women. Now, it doesn't matter what generation we're in, what music comes out. The current parents are going to say the same thing.
Yep.
You know, when I was growing up, you know, this wasn't the kind of music that we're listening to. I don't know what the world is coming into, this and this and this. When I listen to Teddy P, he talking about turn off the lights. What are you talking about?
Because the light bill was too high.
and let's get closer.
Teddy got bills.
Turn them off. And Teddy was wrong with it. Teddy was like, turn them off.
Woman.
Same situation. I mean, it doesn't matter how we get. Generations are going to have a different opinion. Now, to talk about what Jazzy was saying. Now, if you have Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B raising your kids,
that's the problem.
There gonna be some hoes in that house. Okay, there gonna be some hoes in that house. Okay, and that's I'm a dad, grown man talk. Hey, so that's where we come in. Like, of course, I don't want my kids listening to that, but you have to realize that when they're not in your company, and they're amongst their friends, and they have these iPhones, iPads, computers, and things like that, you're not looking, TikTok, all that, guess what? They're going to listen to it. Okay, they don't have 10 million views and 20 million views because we're watching it. They have all them views because, guess what? Our kids are watching it. So it's our jobs and duties to monitor what they're doing. And when things like that come out, is to open dialogue and have conversation and say, hey, look, I know about this, but I know you ain't listening to it, right? And that's just to let them know, you know what's going on. You know, and keep, that's the main thing with kids nowadays, to keep the conversation open, free flow. Don't shut them out. Make sure y'all can talk about anything. You know, that's going to avoid things in the long run. So that's just my take on it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's history repeating itself. It's been done. Okay.
Yeah. You've both, you know, kind of hit the main points, really. You know, look, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what I found myself arguing with a few people about. I'm like, you know, why am I arguing about this? Look, like this is nothing new. The same way we listen to similar music and turn out the way that we did is because we were grounded with a certain moral compass, right? Our parents, you know, our grandparents or what have you, instilled certain values in us. So yes, we listen to that music. I could go out and buy NWA Dope Man. It didn't make me go out and sell dope, right? I listened to 2 Live Crew and Too Short. Didn't have me doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? So we have to realize, as you both have said, we can't look to these people to raise our kids. You can rant all you want on social media. This music it's not going to change. It's going to come out through music, through movies. This imagery is going to be out there. So your rant is not going to stop it. But what we can do is control our house, control our domain, control our surroundings, and you know, or mentor somebody, volunteer someplace, and help to guide some, you know, young girls, young boys about proper you know. So instilling that within people is what matters, so that they can choose wisely. Yes, they're going to hear it. You can't control what happens in your house, but as Dwayne said, they're not going to be with you all the time. They're going to hear it. You know, so we just, you know, the world has not changed. It's the same thing. If there was Facebook back in our days, our parents would be on there talking about the same thing. Like, oh, what's this world coming to? Same thing. I mean, they did that with Elvis. Elvis is swinging his hips. You know, this is sexy. You know, I mean, it's going to change. The way it's done, the way it's delivered is going to change going forward. But parenting, guiding, leading, mentoring still has to rule the day. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? So,
that's it.
That's WAP.